Hey guys, it's Allison here, and I am super excited to be one of the guest YouTubers helping out Audrey Yeager with her 21 Days of Summer Scrapping video series. Yesterday was day 1, today is day 2 of the first week, so I'll have all the links below. This is the brainchild of Audrey Yeager, so I will have her YouTube channel linked below. And then I'm actually the second sort of special guest today. The first one is Sarah Scraps, so I'll also have her YouTube channel linked below. Be sure to check them out. Subscribe to Audrey because she will be posting a layout every day for a week, the third week of June, the third week of July, and the third week of August. And then that gives you the 21 days of summer scrapping. And the only mandate is that it's summer. So that is sort of a broad category. And so I'm going to be scrapbooking these photos of some ice cream, which to me goes hand in hand with summertime. These were taken last summer on our trip to Scotland. FYI, I am Canada, so we haven't officially started summer yet. Now, weather-wise, it's feeling some days like summer, but the kids are still in school, and in fact, they don't get out of school until towards the end of June, like 28th-ish, I think. So for us, summer holidays is really only July and August. I know that in the States it's a bit different, but that's what we do up here. Okay, so I'm also going to be participating in one of the challenges over at the Paper Issues blog, and it is the free cut file, free for all. I can't remember the exact title of that challenge, but basically you go onto the Paper Issues shop and you download one of their free cut files and you use it on a project. So I am actually combining 2 cut files because I couldn't get exactly what I wanted for my title with just one. And I will link them below. One is called Sweet Summertime Treats, I believe, and it is ice cream themed, which works for me. So there are various cone options and popsicles. You've got the scoops, all that kind of stuff. So I've cut those out, and then there are some words as well, and I am going to use basically part of one of the word phrases that they had, which the word phrase was I scream for the ice cream truck, and what I want to title this is You Scream for Ice Cream. So I've got the scream for ice cream from that one cut file, and then I went into the other cut file, which is called Sweet Summertime, I think, and I cut out the word your, and because I only need you, I just chopped off the RE. That's going to go in my recycling, and now my title will be You Scream for Ice Cream, and I think that works for my ice cream pics. So I'm just going to move that title off to the top there. And I have pulled out a few supplies. I've got some papers, some 6x6 papers from Echo Park's A Perfect Summer by Lori Whitlock. Now this is a few years old. I don't know if there's a date on here. No, it doesn't seem to have a date. So yeah, but you know, got to use up my stash. And I'm on a bit of a buying freeze because I'm not working, so that limits what I can do. I cut this one card from another Echo Parker line called Fun in the Sun. Colors work really well. Don't know if there's a year on this side. A lot of them have years on them and a lot of them don't. Oh, 2013, so there we go. That is old. And what else do I have back here? This is another Echo Park. This is from their Dots and Stripes, but I like the stripe part of it. And then for my background, I'm going to make, I'm going to combine these two. This is a Gossamer blue paper. Sorry, I'm having trouble speaking today, I guess. I just liked all the colored dots. That is the other side of that. And then yet another Echo Park paper. This is Summer Bliss by Lori Whitlock, 2014. I really like this wood grain. And then that's the other side, which is also super fantastic. My plan is to layer them up so I have this frame around and have this as my main background, which means that I will be covering up a lot of this, and usually I don't have a problem with that, but I actually really like this wood grain, so I'm going to chop out the middle and save that for another project. Okay, so that is kind of as far as I've gotten as far with papers. I do have a couple of sticker sheets that I have pulled aside as well. I've got the Fun in the Sun like icons and photos and element stickers, whatever they call them, and the Summer Bliss. I've got an alpha, which I probably won't need, and then a few other things. So I don't know if I'll bring in any of these, but I thought I would have them handy because the colors do match the collections that I have there. I've also got this crepe paper poolside. It's a bit picked over. These aren't pool pictures, but you never know. And I think that's it. Okay, so I am just going to go put this on fast forward and then voice over the rest of it and just start playing. All right, here we go. So if you've never done this before, it's pretty simple to cut out the middle of a background that you want to keep for future projects. I basically have to start with cutting off the branding strip, obviously. And then for me, it really depends on how much of that you want to save. But for me, I will typically position my paper at the 1-inch mark. And then because my trimmer has a ruler on the blade, sort of, I don't know what to call that, the home blade thing where you slide it, you know, I will just mark off from the 1 inch down from the top to 1 inch up from the bottom. And then I do that on all 4 sides. And when you're finished, you have a nice square taken out of the middle. And then I trimmed off the Gossamer Blue paper. And normally I will just take off like a 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch off 2 sides. But I really liked all those polka dots. And if I took 1/2 an inch off one side, I was actually cutting into the polka dots themselves. So I ended up chopping a 1/4 inch off each of the 4 sides of that particular paper, just so I could have all the polka dots whole and centered. Yeah, just kind of a quirky thing of that paper. So now I'm working on the arrangement for the rest of it. And I cut a 12-inch strip of that green paper at about 4.5 inches wide or tall. And I cut it at 12 inches because I wasn't sure if I really wanted it to span the whole length, but I thought I would take a look and see how it looked before I committed. And I did like it, so I'm committing to that. And then I have these 2 pieces of 6x6 paper that initially I thought I would sort of matte somehow, get kind of some sort of messy matte behind the 2 photos. And then I had this idea of having them sort of crooked, and one behind the green and one behind the photos. And by cutting them in half, I can extend them a little bit so they no longer look like 6x6 papers, but maybe a little bit taller. So that's what I've done. And I used my extra piece of the green stripe to line it up so that they do sort of trick your eye into thinking that it's one full sheet of paper that runs the whole height, but it's not. So now I am adhering my cone, and I decide that I want to back the inside of that cone outline with a different pattern. And I've just gone through that 6x6 paper pad to find one that will work. And this pattern, I know that you saw the green side there, but it's actually the red and blue stripe on the other side that I want to use. And this pattern is actually the 2 colors of my little sort of mats behind the photos. So it works quite well. And then it's a little bit finicky to get this stuck down because I did not think ahead and cut this paper out with my silhouette. I had to hand cut it, so it wasn't completely perfect, so I had to sort of manipulate the little frame of the ice cream cone there. But in the end, I get it on there, and I'm really pleased with the way it looks, actually. And now it's just a matter of gluing my title in place. And I don't know, maybe this is just a me thing, like a British thing, I'm not really sure. But growing up, we had this saying, I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. And I'm sure that's not just a me thing. I'm sure that's a universal thing. So that's where this title came from, the You Scream for Ice Cream. I can no longer scream for ice cream because, yeah, I became lactose intolerant after giving birth to my third daughter. Thanks for that. Anyway, so I've got the main elements in place. I've got my photos, I've got my title, I've got a little bit of embellishment, and now it's a matter of putting in the journaling. And that blue pattern, it's actually solid blue on the back of that 6x6 paper, is just a perfect spot for my journaling. So I can tell my story there, and I'm actually using a blue pen as well to bring out all the blues. Now the blue idea came from the Gossamer blue paper. There is sort of a royal blue polka dot, and then a very dark polka dot that is somewhere between navy and black. So maybe I call it a midnight blue. I had thought of cutting out the cut files in white, but I kind of thought they might fade into the background of the paper, especially with the white background of that Gossamer blue paper. So I decided to go for the navy, and I'm quite glad I did, actually. It's a bit of a different spin on things, I think. But it does mean that there's sort of these two areas of dark color. So I am going to try and remember that when I'm placing some embellishments. So I've just gone through the sticker sheet, and I pulled off a large circular sticker. It did have a talking tag, or whatever you call those, which I cut off because I didn't want it to be like a speech bubble. I wanted it just to be a circle. And then I have tucked it sort of behind the journaling, because in the journaling I talk about how I'm pretty sure it was my aunt that bought these ice creams for my daughters. So I just talk about it's an aunt's privilege to buy ice creams for their great nieces. And now I want to sort of emphasize the circle there and pull in some brads. And brads are something that I sort of forget about quite often, and then go through a bit of a brad crazy phase. So I think I'm in my brad crazy phase right now, so I do apologize, but not that it's, anything to apologize for, but I am sort of consciously trying to remember to pull out my brads. And I happen to have 3 sets, I think, of summer themed brads, and maybe they're all Echo Park. I'm not completely sure. There's definitely some that coordinate with some of the paper collections that I'm using here. So that's kind of fun. And now it's just a matter of finding places for them. That one I want to tuck behind the little sticker there. I popped the sticker up with Pop Dots, so that makes it perfect for tucking that brad behind. And then you see the little banner, the sort of 2 paper banners that are currently sitting on top of my scissors. I think there was 2 brads on the sheet that, had these banners hanging down from them. And I must have used one of the brads on something else, but left the paper banner on the sheet of all the rest of the brads. So they're currently with a navy brad in them, because I want to have at least one other instance of that navy blue somewhere in my embellishments. So that's, I found the one navy brad in my collection, and have stuck those banners through there for now. And then I went hunting for some enamel dots, and I really wanted some navy enamel dots, and apparently I am all out. Apparently I use them up when I have them. So, and then I decided I didn't really like how the banners looked with the navy brad. So, and also where I wanted to put the banners, there was a lot of navy down there already, and I really wanted to have that navy brad somewhere else. So I took the brad out of the banners and just glued them down like they were just little paper pieces instead of something that originally had a brad in them. And I found a different home for that navy brad. So now it's just a matter of finding homes for all the rest of the brads that I have pulled out and adding enamel dots into those groupings as well. And I'm going for sort of groupings of colorful enamel dots. I think I've got some blue, some orange maybe. I can't actually remember right now all the different colors that I put in there. And that, oh, I had one of the stickers I'd put down had a like a little spot for journaling, so that's where I added the date. And that is it. So there's the finished layout. It's quite colorful, which I think is appropriate for a summertime layout, and I love all the different ice cream cone icons I was able to bring in there. And there's a closer look at the journaling and some of the brad and enamel dot groupings. Because the background paper has all these colorful polka dots on it, I think the different colored enamel dots doesn't look out of place. It actually makes sense because I'm bringing in some of the colors from the background into the foreground. Okay guys, so thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the summer scrapping series, and I will see you soon.